Hey guys, now this video may seem a little out of the blue, however I've been diving back into the series with my yearly Metal Gear Solid binge. However I thought to myself I never really include Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain into the list. I usually settle for Metal Gear Solid 1 to Metal Gear Solid 4, and the way that game ties things up satisfies me to a degree where I feel like I don't need to go any further with things like Rising Revengeance. Which as awesome as the gameplay is, it's largely just a shameless cash grab when Ryan already got his resolution and closure at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4. Now I've got nothing really against Metal Gear Solid 5 at all. If anything, I've put literally hundreds of hours into it across multiple platforms. I've completed it on the PS4, PS5, my Xbox 360 just for the achievements, and now I'm playing it again on my Steam Deck. But I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this entry. What I wanted to focus on with this video is the tragic missed potential of the cut content of the game, and how its in brackets finished release state seems lacking with its story in regards to how deep and rich the story has been within the previous titles.
They played us like a damn fiddle! Give it back! This isn't right, that was ours!
I feel that when the game is playing out these big cinematic and epic moments in the cutscenes, it's one of the most impactful, well-acted and memorable games in the franchise. And then we just seem to have hours and hours of seemingly pointless side ops between, pulling me away from getting any further into the story missions. Now don't get me wrong, the gameplay in this game is phenomenal. So the free roam, infiltration and clearing of enemy bases is extremely satisfying. But it almost feels like you get a flow going within the story, you then pause the game, go play something else for a few hours, and then pick back up Metal Gear Solid 5 and try to remember what was happening or where you were. Now there is no concrete answers I can give here in terms of what exactly went down behind the scenes with Konami and Kojima, and why the game turned out the way it did, even if it's largely been debated for the last decade online. However, I find the whole situation very intriguing, and I just wanted to dig a little further into it for those of you who may not know the history of why the game seems somewhat incomplete.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
Did you like it?
Now I pre-ordered the special collector's edition of The Phantom Pain. I had Venom Snake's Bionic Arm, the Steelbook, the hardback official guidebook, and if I had the cash at the time, I'd have even gotten the Diamond Dogs PS4 console. I had played the previous demo, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, which acts as a prologue to the game, over and over, and wasn't too bothered by the price tag for such a short game, as it still had a lot of replayability value. So I was super hyped for the Phantom Pain to release on September 1st, 2015. I was telling all my friends to buy it, and I was counting down the days to release, watching this epic 8-minute red band trailer over and over, just thinking about how dark and epic this entry was going to be. I also love David Hayter so much, don't get me wrong.
I'm David Hayter, the voice of Naked Snake from Snake Eater. Take a look back with me and some old friends as we reflect on one of the greatest video games ever made.
But Kiefer Sutherland has always been one of my favourite actors, and I think he did a great job at voicing Venom Snake.
I won't see you in his ashes. You're all diamonds. We'll make diamonds from their ashes. Take them into battle with us.
I felt that he was the perfect fit in terms of age and performance.
Whenever I watch 24, I always think that it's essentially like a Metal Gear series. I picture Jack Bauer as Venom Snake or Big Boss, with all the things like the presidential assassination attempts, the bomb threats, the rescuing of hostages, the gun standoffs, and the CQC fights, all seem to fit very much into that world, as well as that 24 movie Redemption set in Africa with the child soldiers. It's almost like a Phantom Pain movie to one degree or another.
We'll bring him back to Mother Base. Listen, the kids don't get hurt. No matter what, you bring him back alive.
We are talking about innocent children. Whatever happens to them is all on you. You would really leave these children out here in the street knowing what you do about Juma? Damn it, Frank! They will be used as cannon fodder, or slaughtered in the soccer stadium for entertainment. I am giving you the chance to make sure that doesn't happen. The choice is yours.
However, I wasn't reading much online at the time of playing this, but the episodic layout of the game was quite unique. For those of you who may not have played much of this series prior, Hideo Kojima is an avid movie buff and likes to feature a lot of actors and actresses as well as movie directors as characters within his games, alongside a ton of Easter eggs and references. He says in the official piggyback guidebook to Metal Gear Solid 5 that if the previous installments of Metal Gear were like feature films, then this entry was more of an episodic TV series. There are two main chapters in the finished game. Chapter 1 is called Revenge, a main theme of the story, and Chapter 2 is called Race. However, many online forums and sites have been discussing leaked information regarding the original layout and script for the story, including its chapters and mission titles. I only discovered this a couple of years after finishing the Phantom Pain for the first or second time, and I know that may seem like a long time to look this info up. However, when I got past Chapter 1, I was already used to the kind of repetitive side ops that are frequently used to pad out the second chapter, so I just assumed that within the way the open world was quite free roam, they couldn't write too linear of a story, as you had too much freedom between missions. The original games were very straightforward in terms of a path and knowing where to go or what to do next, whereas this entry is almost like you can pick the story up and put it down whenever you want, which I think works to the detriment of the game's story.
You gonna extract him?
To best explain why I believe the story to be incomplete and have wasted potential of unfulfilled plot lines, first we need to generally understand the story itself, and I'll do that as briefly as I possibly can starting now. If you already know the story of Metal Gear Solid 5, both Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain, then feel free to skip ahead to the timestamp on screen now. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes is set in 1975, a few months after the events of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Snake, currently working with MFS, is infiltrating an American black site prison camp on Cuban soil known as Camp Omega, to rescue and extract two hostages, Paz and Chico. Paz has crucial intel on the whereabouts of a person or persons known under the codename of Cypher. And Chico, who is a former child soldier who has been captured by the villain of this game, known as Skullface, the commander of a paramilitary force known as XOF. Upon extracting both prisoners on the chopper back to the mother base, the home operations site to MSF, Chico informs us that Paz has been surgically implanted with a bomb, and with no time to waste, the onboard medic and Snake help remove the explosive from Paz while she's still awake. They arrive at mother base to find it being destroyed and in flames. They land long enough for Snake to rescue a few members of MSF, who informs us that the UN inspection was nothing but a ruse to plan an attack by XOF on mother base. Paz then regains consciousness and tells them another bomb is implanted in her. Knowing she won't survive, she decides to jump from the chopper to try and spare them. This incident and crash puts Snake in a coma for 9 years in a hospital based in Cyprus, which then leads into the events of the main game, Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. The game starts with Snake awakening from his 9-year coma. He has a number of shrapnel pieces lodged in his head and body, and one that resembles more of a symbolic demon horn, as well as he's lost his left arm from the elbow down. Your doctor warns you enemy soldiers are looking for you, so you must change your facial features. You then create your character, however when you then get shown yourself in the mirror again, it still shows you as Big Boss, which is a little strange at first, but there's a reason for it. The doctor is garroted and you are nearly killed by a female assassin until she is set on fire and falls out of a window, caused by a helpful patient on the ward next to you known as Ishmael, who also seems to be voiced by Kiefer Sutherland. Also, I have to say this whole opening hospital mission is one of my all-time favourite missions out of the entire saga. It's incredible. You first encounter a child version of Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid 1 here, in this game titled The Third Child, and a transformed Volgin from Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, now known as the Man on Fire. You manage to escape by the skin of your teeth, and after crashing an ambulance you awake and crawl from the wreckage. You're rescued by an ally known to you from Metal Gear Solid 3, known as Ocelot, and travel to Afghanistan together. Snake rescues Miller, which is being held captive and has lost his leg. With the help of Miller and Ocelot, you start to rebuild Mother Base from the ground up and reform, now under the new name of Diamond Dogs. You fight and capture an otherworldly sniper by the name of Quiet, who eventually joins Diamond Dogs and can be used as a companion on your missions. We learn that Skullface, who captured Huey Emmerich, the father of Otacon from Metal Gear Solid 1, and is forcing him against his will to build a Metal Gear known as the Sahelanthropus. After an epic battle and escaping near death from the Sahelanthropus, Venom Snake heads to Africa on the trail of some intel and captures a child soldier known as Eli, who is actually one of Big Boss's clones from the Les Enfants Terribles project. He's actually a child Liquid Snake who becomes one of the game's main antagonists in the future entries. A strange illness starts to infect all members of Mother Base, and Venom Snake has to rush to find a way to stop the disease spreading. You gain intel that an old Navajo codenamed Code Talker may have a cure. We learn that the unknown pathogen infecting Mother Base is a form of vocal cord parasite which will kill its host if it hears them speak a certain language. Once the Diamond Dogs are cured, Venom Snake rushes to an airbase in Afghanistan to stop Skullface from activating Sahelanthropus, and we get some further exposition about Skullface's plans. However, these don't seem to really go anywhere. Eli and the third child then activate the Metal Gear early and crush Skullface before Venom Snake puts him out of his misery himself. Venom Snake then manages to defeat Sahelanthropus, and its body is taken back to Mother Base for in-depth study and repair. Eli and the third child then hijack the remains of the repaired Sahelanthropus and take it out to an uninhabited island in Africa. Another outbreak of the mutated vocal cord parasite then breaks out at Mother Base again and is now immune to the earlier administered cure they found. Therefore, Venom Snake has no other choice but to murder all the quarantined soldiers to stop it from spreading. It's one of the most brutal and dark missions in all of Metal Gear. Quiet then disappears and Venom Snake sets out to find her. They both become injured during her rescue, and during this time Venom Snake is bitten by a cobra and die if not attended to urgently. Quiet then calls on a chopper, which is the first time we hear her speak in the whole game. This is because the whole time she was infected with the English variant of the vocal cord parasite and has chosen to stay silent as not to kill herself or spread it to other members of Mother Base. However, knowing Venom Snake will die, she chooses to sacrifice herself to save him. The game then wraps up with quite a clever plot twist in which it's revealed to the player that the whole game you haven't actually been playing as Big Boss. You've been playing as the medic that was in the crash with Big Boss on the return from Camp Omega at the start. You were put through extensive brainwashing techniques and hypnotherapy, as well as strong power of suggestion, to make the medic believe that he was the real Big Boss all along, whilst the real Big Boss goes off into hiding. There are multiple clues to this throughout, and makes playing the game a second time round even more interesting now you know the truth. Now we're all caught up to speed, let's get on to the main concern of this video, the final mission of the game that was scrapped possibly due to conflict between Konami and Kojima production. And although we don't know the exact extent of this, however from what I can gather online, it's probably due to a few contributing factors such as the following. The strategic change of Konami's part to move away from big budget console games and focus on more mobile gaming and pachinko machines. Kojima's tendency to run over the planned budget for the game become an issue for Konami's changing business model. Konami in 2015 started to restructure the company after hiring a new CEO, removing the Kojima Productions branding altogether and blocking access to senior staff members, treating them more as contractors. A public fallout could be seen between the company and Kojima, due to power struggles possibly over the future direction of the series. Kojima's name was removed from all promotional packaging for Metal Gear Solid 5, and after Metal Gear Solid 5 released and sweeps up a barrage of positive and perfect scores, as well as a number of awards, Kojima was supposedly barred by Konami's lawyers to attend the annual Game Awards to accept anything on behalf of Metal Gear Solid 5.
As you noticed, Hideo Kojima is not here with us tonight, and I want to tell you a little bit about that. Mr. Kojima had every intention of being with us tonight, but unfortunately he was informed by a lawyer representing Konami just recently that he would not be allowed to travel to tonight's awards ceremony to accept any awards. He's still under an employment contract, and it's disappointing, and it's inconceivable to me that an artist like Hideo would not be allowed to come here and celebrate with his peers and his fellow teammates such an incredible game as Metal Gear Solid 5. But that's the situation we're in. Hideo is in Tokyo right now watching the show, so we want you to know, Hideo, that we're thinking of you. And we miss you. We hope to see you at the Game Awards 2016.
Kojima then later in 2015 fully left Konami after this to form his own studio, now known as Kojima Productions, known for such games as the Death Stranding series.
Last year, I thought I lost everything, but I didn't lose anything. Thanks to all of you. I thank you all for your support. I love you, Jeff, and Game Awards. I love games. I love this world. I really love you all from my heart. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much.
It's been said that Ground Zeroes was actually supposed to be the prologue to the game and attached to the final product. However, it was taken and sold separately to recuperate some of the funds lost due to going over budget and taking such a long time to finish the game. Konami did face some backlash for charging nearly full price for essentially a 30 to 60 minute demo. Metal Gear Solid 5 had another version released after Kojima left known as a Definitive Experience. This could be a way to get some money back that lost due to Kojima running over budget. However, all it does is include Ground Zeroes, Metal Gear Online, and some in-game content like weapons and costumes. It's not confirmed whether he actually did or not, but the development of the Fox engine, a state-of-the-art new game engine, and the hiring of Kiefer Sutherland in over David Hayter probably took a large chunk of the funds. Kojima was also supposedly working on side projects at the time like Silent Hills.
It was revealed that you're working on a new Silent Hill game with Guillermo del Toro, starring Norman Reedus. Everyone was talking about that.
Which was later unfortunately cancelled. He could have been taking too much money or time away from Metal Gear Solid 5 for Konami's new CEO's liking. I guess we'll never know, but the release date of Metal Gear Solid 5 has so much cut content apparently, it genuinely gets me down reading and seeing what we could have ended up with if he was given more time and money to flesh out to its full potential. The first and most obvious piece of missing content is Episode 51, Kingdom of the Flies. In the mission, which can be seen here in early development video included with a bonus Blu-ray disc that came with a collector's edition, Eli has taken over an island in Africa with the help of the third child and some child soldiers.
Boss, about Eli and his boys.
You know where they went?
We're still working on it, but the chopper pilot they had fly them out of here is back.
And?
He said once Sahelanthropus and the chopper got out to sea, they split up and headed in different directions. The chopper headed straight for Africa. They made it about 50 miles inland before running out of fuel.
Miller has tracked Eli's location based on the information of the helicopter pilot that took them to Africa.
He was almost dead from dehydration when the medics found him. They left him alive on purpose.
Yeah, they're calling us out. They want to settle this.
The intel team are using the direction Sahelanthropus headed and the direction the kids took off in to narrow down the search area. And with Hewitt helping out, it won't be long before we know where Eli is. There's just one thing that bothers me.
What's that?
Apparently, there are already men going around the nearby villages asking for witnesses of the giant in the sky.
Damn it. Already?
It's clearly business as usual for Cypher, even with Skullface gone. They must have been dying to get Sahelanthropus back ever since Afghanistan. And if they beat us to it, they'll be getting more than that. Eli's carrying the English strain of the vocal cord parasite. We've tracked down Eli and his men. They've spread the parasite across the island. It won't affect you if your voice hasn't broken, so they're safe, for now. Eli's driven all the adults off the island. Recess is officially in session. His own version of Lord of the Flies, only instead of a pig's head, Sahelanthropus. And it's swarming with something worse than flies. They presented one demand in exchange for the nuke. Big Boss's body. Those kids have got a lot to learn.
Okay, boss. The objective is to recover Sahelanthropus and the children, Eli included. Once you're in the air, we'll hit the island with napalm. Can't let those things spread. It gets worse. Here's the tape from when Eli took off.
Where is he?
I told you, your father's not here.
They're back.
His voice is starting to change, meaning he's almost a man. So if he's carrying the English language strain, well, if he starts showing symptoms, it's over.
be through here.
You're not a kid anymore. You can call your own shots. But at this rate, you'll be dead before you have a chance.
I'm free to die however I wish. Yes, free. You don't get the last word, Father. I'll break the curse of my heritage. And to do that, first, I will kill you!
An epic three-way battle then pursues between the child soldiers and Eli piloting Sahelanthropus, Venom Snake and the XOF soldiers.
Give me some room.
He'll be all right. The vest took the bullet.
Get him on the chopper. We'll patch him up at base.
Boss, he's showing symptoms. Huh? What?
I was created by Cypher. And I was the flaw. My fate was written in my genes. I'm the loser. You. All because of you. I'm not me. I'm just a copy of you. I will surpass my father. Destroy my father. Destroy you! I'll kill all of Cypher. I'll destroy your precious world.
Code Red, we need to go, fast. How's it going over there?
There's nothing you can do for him now.
Island's completely contaminated. Orders are to use napalm to sanitize.
Sanitize every square inch. Prepare to drop. We're pulling out. Move!
Code Red.
Live. Live.
You're one hell of a soldier.
I will kill you!
That's right. Don't blame yourself. Blame me.
Not yet. It's not over yet.
It's a real character building moment for realising this is why Liquid Snake became so full of hate in the way that he did.
Can you understand what it's like to know that you're garbage since the day you were born? But I'm the one Father chose.
So that's why you're so obsessed with Big Boss. Some warped kind of love.
Love? It's hate!
He always told me I was inferior, and now I'll have my revenge! You should understand me, brother. You killed our father with your own hands! You stole my chance for revenge! Now I'll finish the work that Father began. I will surpass him! I will destroy him!
And also giving us some resolution to his setup in this game, and how he even gets rid of the vocal cord parasite as we see him in future entries. There was also plans for a return to Camp Omega from Ground Zeroes, and it would somehow tie in with your previous save if you own the prior game, including some form of character arc for Chico as well. This never made it into the game either.
When I showed it at the studio, everyone started crying. We couldn't record at all.
That's right.
We had Ground Zeroes and then MGS5 Phantom Pain, but Chico wasn't in MGS5, so you weren't credited. In my first idea, Chico was alive but has become a deranged killer. He was supposed to appear as someone violently killing people, kind of like Christopher Walken's character in The Deer Hunter. But this scenario would have deviated from the main story, so I decided against it, and so Kiko, you weren't in MGS5.
Even Skullface as a villain seems very abruptly dealt with no real boss fight of any kind. Something the series is known for is its boss fights. His plans and themes don't seem to really get explored as thoroughly as they should.
An English strain of the vocal parasite. I will exterminate the English language. With this, I'll rid the world of infestation. All men will breathe free again, reclaim their past, present, and future. No one can stop it now!
There was even supposed to be the ability to drive the battle gear created by Huey Emmerich, but apparently it was cut as it messed up the game's performance balance. There was even a third chapter of the game planned, as a title card can be found by data miners. The chapter is called Peace and is something to do with disarming all nukes. But even outside of this, there were supposed to be 5 whole chapters in Metal Gear Solid 5, as can be seen by this list that was leaked by a Portuguese member of the press. And in the final release version of the game, we ended up with only 2 chapters, making the game a third of the length it should have really been. I know Kojima has never confirmed whether this was correct, could have even been as extra ideas or future DLC. However, I believe he may possibly just be under an NDA to not discuss the Phantom Pain or its development any further than he already has on record. But how heartbreaking is this, just knowing that we got a game with over half of its ideas and content not explored further? Knowing it would be the final entry in the series until it come full circle with the timeline of the first Metal Gear. It's like looking forward to the last entry of an epic saga, like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars. When halfway through the entry, it somehow just jumps straight to the end credits. And we're sat there scratching our heads, not understanding why there wasn't more payoff to that build-up.
Look at this shit.
Fuck!
Fuck this shit! Everything look fucking bad. Fuck this shit, man.
And although the Phantom Pain boasts that it has 50 main story missions, the first 31 complete in Chapter 1 and the final 7 missions in Chapter 2, missions 32 to 46, less than half of these even progress the story any further. A majority of them are either side ops, total stealth missions, or replays with the same levels on a higher difficulty. I can't believe Konami is so adamant Mission 51 is not cut content and was just a planned DLC they never finished, when it has so much crucial lore in it. But one thing they are sure of is that these kind of missions were planned from the start and definitely aren't filler. I mean, come on. With the way digital gaming is going with discless consoles and things such as Game Pass, I think it would be awesome for someone to make a director's cut style version of The Phantom Pain, which is streamlined to have much less side ops and a greater focus on just the story. Maybe even add Ground Zeroes to it to pad it out, having more of a cinematic and just story focused game in one package, and someone can maybe even mod using the existing assets in the game, Episode 51 into it. Even just a mode that cuts out anything in between that's called story mode or something, where each episode ties into the next without the chopper or mother base between. I know this will never happen, but I think it would make it seem more of a traditional Metal Gear Solid game, to me anyway. Also, people were speculating that because Snake or the medic were in that coma for 9 years, everything within that time frame was a lie in some degree. So maybe Kojima was actually planning some crazy meta experiment where the rest of the Phantom Pain would finally release to us 9 years after the initial release of the game. I was so excited to see this game hit 9 years old, just clinging on to this theory and dream. However, no such luck. I mean, come to think of it, maybe this was the intention all along, to leave us wanting more, or intentionally making the game feel as if it's just missing something never to be returned. The game is called The Phantom Pain after all, leaving us with a sense of longing for something we'll never get again.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg, and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost, the comrades I've lost, won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you?
Maybe Kojima's even smarter than we thought possible. Or do you still think that the game was somewhat sabotaged by the fallout between Konami and Kojima? Whatever you think, comment below and let me know your thoughts and feelings on The Phantom Pain. Thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this video, I really do appreciate it, and I definitely have more deep dive and in-depth Metal Gear videos coming. I'm currently in the background working on a love letter to Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty video, similar to my other love letter videos on this channel. Please leave a like if you did enjoy the video, share it with your friends, leave me a comment and make sure to subscribe to the channel for all future content. Until next time, I've been your host, JB Twanziger.